Wheels with Wondra from Snell Motors on the corner of Madison Avenue and Highway 22 in Mankato. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning.
Thank you and the folks at Snell Motors for my reflective vest during my Ragnar relay. I knew you guys had a bunch, and I didn't want to buy a reflective vest for one use.
Right.
For the 6 miles I was going to wear it for while we were doing that. So I hit up Jeff, and Snell Motors came through, and I did wash it. It's clean. It is without my sweat in it anymore.
Very nice of you.
And it kept me very safe in my night run through the middle of nowhere in Wisconsin. So let's talk today, Jeff, about OnStar Smart Driver. We seem to have discussed OnStar quite a bit, and there's just more and more options that are worth talking about.
Yeah, I talked about that email last week, that diagnostic email you get once a month from OnStar, just giving you all that great information. And one piece of that is the Smart Driver. And a lot of people just, again, they look at it, they overlook it, they don't do anything with it. And I just encourage clicking on that stuff. And what the Smart Driver does is it helps improve your driving. It can maximize the overall performance of your vehicle. It helps reduce wear and tear by monitoring how you drive, and it also enhances your fuel efficiency by making you more of an efficient driver. This is going to sound a lot like that progressive snapshot. If any of you have ever used that or had any experience with it, you'll kind of get that sounds familiar. So what you do is you get a report with your Smart Driver. It shows how many trips you've been on in a certain amount of time, and you get a driver score on how you compare to other OnStar Smart Drivers that have signed up for the program. It's all anonymous. Don't worry. You don't see like Bill and Fred and compare yourself. You suck. The next thing is...
Got people trolling you on OnStar?
You have the OnStar Smart Driver report, and it'll actually break down all the different things. And then you'll have interactive graphs and maps, and then it'll actually provide you with helpful tips. So let's say that you are pretty good at this, pretty bad at that. It'll give you tips on how to reduce those hard stops. So on the report itself, you'll see your score. You'll see how many hard breaks you had, and you can say, how many did I have yesterday, last week, last month, last year. You can actually see in a bar graph, when certain times of the day, certain days of the week where you have more hard brakes, hard accelerations. It covers late night driving percentages between somewhere like 4 a.m. or midnight and 4 a.m. I think is what it is. It's just a higher risk driving time. Distance driven, average mile per gallon in a certain time frame. Average miles per hour. How much percentage of that was speeding over 80 miles per hour? And how much time was at idle, stop and go traffic, letting it just run once you've started it to warm or cool your vehicle down, etc.
Sensing a very parental usage aspect to this thing right here with going over 80 miles an hour, running late at night, hard brakes.
That is exactly where I was going with the next thing
All right.
here. So, you can take this information. Let's say you score out of 100, you're like a 90, 95 driver. You can bring this to your insurance agent. I'm not saying all of them are going to do anything, but there are a handful that do work with this exact report. And you can actually sign up for the insurance side of it, so it tracks all this information. Give it to your insurance agent and say, hey, I'm a super safe driver that never drives at night, never drives over 80 miles per hour. There's a good chance you can get a discount on your insurance. Let's say that you're thinking about doing the progressive snapshot, and you're like, I'm not sure. Try this. It's free. Nobody sees it. And let's say that you're a horrible driver. No, you probably don't want to sign up.
Yeah.
Maybe use this to help practice and learn some tips. So the kid stuff. Picture this. You have your kid driving your vehicle yesterday. You log into OnStar, and you see their performance. And you see that how many hard brakes, hard accelerations, if there's any late night driving, how many miles they drove, miles per gallon, miles per hour, speed over 80 miles per hour, and idle time. Okay? All that information. And then you click the Maps button. You can see exactly where the hard brakes and hard acceleration were on a map. You know exactly where this information was. You know exactly where the late night driving was. All of that information is logged, and you can just simply go to OnStar.com, which is free, and you can access all this information. I am so sorry, all of you kids that are driving vehicles with OnStar, and your parents now know about this information. But it's awesome, yes. And I highly advise checking it out.
It is, it's tough to grow up in this day and age, kids. We're always watching you. And that's it. You know what? You either have that, and you get to keep Snapchat, or this stuff never happened, and you get away with more stuff. So you make the choice. And I know you can't give up Snapchat and Instagram, so we'll be monitoring your driving in my vehicle that you're driving. So I just got a text from Becky, by the way. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
She has heading back
Cool.
to school.
That's what I
Currently
thought.
headed
Okay.
to class. So, all right. We trash talked you quite a bit this morning, Becky, up until we realized you
really.
were going back to class. But it was more Jeff trash talking than it was, not this Jeff, but other
like,
Jeff that was trash talking than it was us. But we get it. You got to graduate eventually. So you can get that nice car with OnStar in it and track your future. Right there in the car. Nice. All right. Well, they're there. You can push the button. I think sometimes people are afraid to push the button thinking they're going to have to pay something, and they don't, do they?
No, it's super free. Like
Okay.
you have to like
Super free.
very intentionally ask them and give them your credit card for them to charge you anything.
All right.
It's impossible not to know.
All right.
Cool.
So don't be afraid of that, and stop and see Jeff at the corner of Madison Avenue and Highway 22 in Mankato at Snell Motors. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Jeff Wondra with us. Wheels with Wondra on the best country Minnesota 93. Country Minnesota.